to be a truck driver and live free out on the open road, the first thing you got to do is go to truck driver training school. So I went to Schneider National Driving Academy outside of Dallas, Texas. And I'm going to take the opportunity right at this moment to tell y'all that truck driving did not turn out to be my true calling in life. I got canned after about 8 months for a series of loading dock fender benders. It's not for everyone. I enjoyed it while it lasted. But right now I want to tell you about the training program. Yeah, so truck driver training school, first you spend about 3 weeks on the campus between the classroom and the lots, and then you start your orientation period, which is a time where new drivers get to go out over the road with an experienced trainer, learn the ropes before they get their first solo route, which means basically spending all day living in a room the size of the bathroom with a stranger. You drive all day together, you eat together, and you sleep in the bunks in the back of the cab. So, during my orientation period, I got to share the cab with 3 different trainers. The first was a big, ugly, lumberjack-looking dude with sloppy flannel shirts and a grizzly beard named Jim Morrison. So, not a bad guy, interesting home life. He had 2 families, one in Charlotte, the other in Oklahoma City. But everyone was totally comfortable with his situation. He loved both of his women, took care of them, supported the children. He just wanted to keep everyone. And it worked out okay because he spent most of his time in between. So neither one of the women felt like a second-class status. So I drove with Jim Morrison during the holidays. And he had requested routes that took him past each of his families in the weeks leading up to Christmas. So we were able to meet each of the women at a truck stop on the route and drop off this big bag of toys for the kids. Driving the sleigh for bigamous Santa Claus is a really warm memory. But then I got reassigned, so I had to break for the holidays, and afterwards I got this guy named John. John was really different. He was young, well-built, shiny truck, tons of ego, and he was married too. But I watched him take his wedding ring off every time we'd stop at certain familiar truck stops on his route, where he'd visit one of his waitress friends where I had to make myself scarce, and then we'd meet back in the truck afterward, and he would call his wife when we got back on the road, except that I always had to stay completely silent when he was talking to his wife because he had told her he had a male orientee. You see, for some reason, she was the jealous type, and she had forbade him from having female students, so I was really uncomfortable with this guy, and eventually I got reassigned again after I knocked his shiny smokestack off on an awning in a parking lot. Sorry. Yeah, so next was Tom. Tom had a reputation of being able to deal really well with new drivers who had had problems with other trainers, so I got along much better with him. He was really intelligent. He was a really talented teacher. And Tom always stepped up for me whenever I'd be mistaken for a prostitute. So that was something that happened kind of a lot. You guys can tell I don't look exactly like most other truckers, but there are women who spend a lot of time in the truck parking sections of the truck stops. So you know how it goes with profiling, and yeah, it happened. But to be totally honest with you, it didn't always bother me that much because I don't totally get what's so bad about being a prostitute. You know, like, every soul in the universe understands what it means to need to be touched, to feel pleasure, union. You know, it doesn't seem that much different to me from like massage or say now I'm a nurse, I shampoo penises every night, who cares? And the laws governing prostitution seem really hypocritical to me when compared to say laws governing pornography. Like, take pornography. 2 consenting adults choose to have intercourse, somebody films it, everyone gets paid, A-okay. But if 2 consenting adults choose to have intercourse in private and one party pays the other, everyone's going to jail. It just doesn't add up to me. So, I think that the women who work with truckers should have a comfortable studio inside the truck stop and not be humiliated and called lot lizards and chased into the trailers by cops trying to whack them over the head with a flashlight, which is exactly what the cop who knocked on Tom's truck one night told us he had just been trying to do. So, alright, I was in the back of the cab changing, and I hear this cop knock on Tom's door and say he had been chasing a lot lizard around earlier, and he said the charming comment about the flashlight. And then he said that he'd gotten a report that a skinny white girl who fit the description had been seen climbing into Tom's truck. So, anyway, I climbed back up to the front, and I saw Tom hand the officer my commercial driver's license and say, "Sir, you're way out of line. The woman in this cab is a driver. She had a long day, worked hard, you need to move along and let her get some rest." And see, he always treated me that way, like I was a hardworking driver and not just some novelty. Thank you, Tom. Wherever you are, I love you for that. God bless you and your family.